the Iran war with Israel and the United States of America is starting to get bigger. It's starting to spread throughout a lot of the Middle East at the moment. A war that was meant to be lasting for days is potentially could be lasting now for weeks and potentially months. This is going to have a negative impact on our crypto bags as well as our stock market bags. And also, this is going to have a wider implication for all countries economically. Why? It all comes down to oil. That is the problem that we're going to have. This is going to increase potentially inflation. And will the United States Federal Reserve start cutting rates? I don't think so. It looks like it could be a pause, or there could be a very, very high risk that they could even hike in terms of interest rates in the United States of America, which would not be good for our crypto bags. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the crypto market in general and about the oil prices, which could affect our bags. So what we can see at the moment, this is on the day. We can look at this. It's pretty much everything is red. There is a few stables out there, a couple of coins that are green, but overall it's red. On the week, we're starting to have a little bit of recovery. But if you start looking at the month and start looking at the year, a lot of coins are down 60, 70, 80, even 90%. A lot of coins are actually starting to hit the bear market lows of 2022, which is really is crazy to see. But let's have a quick look on the dashboard at the moment. We can look at the long to short ratio at the moment. It's 49 long, and it's more aggressive towards the downside with the bears. So we can see it on the Bitcoin sentiment tracker. We're hitting about 12% capitulation. Yesterday was 18, last week was 11, and last month was 12. So at the moment, we're hitting around that uncertainty area. So I'm thinking that we're going to have a big drop at some point. And I think we're going to start hitting that capitulation area at some point. But what we can see is, we can see the daily exchange volume is starting to turn over. That means not so much volume is coming in, not so much money is coming in. A lot of people are becoming a lot more risk off. So you just got to be prepared for that. Now, we did have a lot of outflows going off from these ETFs. We had a big inflow when we had that, when Bitcoin went up to about $74,000. But yesterday, we had some negative inflows that have come into the market. So at the moment, we can have a look at the liquidation heat map at the moment. And we can see that a lot of the liquidation has been taken from the downside. But we have got a little cluster down here, which is all building up. But we have started to get movement towards the upside. So we could get a short squeeze that could come in at any point in time. But at the moment, it's just basically sideways in limbo. But what we will look at as well, we're going to look at Bitcoin and CRO as well. But before that, we'll have a quick check on what's happening in terms of the oil. So what we can look at the moment is US weighs on sanctioning Russian oil as the Iran war pushes prices to the highest since 2023. And this is sort of backed up by actually, we can see here, this is the Qatar Energy Minister for War, warns war will force the Gulf to halt energy exports within weeks. So they're saying here, what they are saying here is this on March the 6th, Qatar expects all Gulf energy produce to shut down exports within weeks if the Iran conflict continues and drives oil to $150 a barrel. That would be absolutely catastrophic for the economy of the world. It really would, because a lot of things rely on oil, from our food, our clothes, to the vehicles that we use. This has the potential, therefore, to hit inflation towards the upside, and we do not want to see that. That's going to really hit everybody's pockets really hard. And if the petrol at the pumps, the diesel, is going to go up even harder, that is really going to hit people hard in terms of the money they have in their household. It's going to be one of those things if this war carries on. So we really do want this war to come to a peaceful ending sooner rather than later. So we can check out Bitcoin at the moment to look at the price, what's happening. So what we know of is from last year, we hit that price of $126,000 around about for Bitcoin. And obviously in October the 10th, we had that major capitulation that happened that really did pummel a lot, liquidated a lot of people from shorts to long. And ever since then, really, the market has just not been the same in the crypto space, specifically for Bitcoin. Now, with the altcoins, obviously, we all know the altcoins from the previous bear market of 2022, we only had a few coins that have pumped. We had Pepe, obviously, we had Solana, XRP, But a lot of the altcoins have just never really recovered. And then ever since then, it's just been with Bitcoin going down. Bitcoin has just been dragging a lot of the altcoins down. And some of the altcoins have been really getting close to the 2022 bear market lows. And right now, we can see on the trend line here that it's just been downwards at the moment. It's been lower lows. That's what it has. We've been having these small little pumps towards the upside, but basically just getting sold off. And what's happening is if we look on the daily, we are at the moment, we're just in that sideways channel action at the moment between that green and yellow line that we can see there. But what we can see is we can see the moving average at the moment is starting to start to turn over down towards the downside. But what we can look at Cypher B at the moment, we've had that red dot what's turned up, but look at the red. It's just been pure red all the way along. But the worrying thing here on the daily is that the money flow is starting to really turn towards the downside. So this is probably giving an indication. And if you checked out my video from yesterday, that we were talking about a potential 40% correction, which could take us down into those low 40s, even to the higher 30s. So we've just got to prepare for that. And I said yesterday as well that I am DCAing in slowly but conservatively, DCAing in around this area here. Now, I've got my areas set for like the lower 60s as well. So, and I've also buying some of the altcoins like CRO, SUI, and even dabbling with a bit of Pepe as well, and a few other coins. That's what I'm doing. I'm also looking at some of the stock market coins because obviously there's a chance that the stock market could have a major pullback. Can you imagine if the stock market pulled back by 10%? What would Bitcoin do? And what would the crypto market do? Let me know in the comments. Are you starting to DCA in now? Are you conservative DCA, or are you all in now? Or are you just sitting in cash and waiting for a bigger drop down towards the downside? But what we will have a quick look at, we'll have a quick look at CRO, which at the moment is looking really bad. We can see here 0.3 that we went to, and now we're sitting at 0.07. That is quite a big move. If we look on the weekly, look at that. It's not really been that great for CRO at all. Even with all the positive news with what's happening with crypto.com and the Cronos ecosystem, but CRO has just been absolutely getting battered. But it's not just CRO. Most of the altcoins have just been absolutely battered. But like I said, regarding like the Cypher B at the moment, it's just, look at that. It's just a sea of red. Can anybody on here spot where the green is? Yeah, you got some green dots, but the money flow has just been coming out of CRO. And obviously that's been panicking. And like I said, it goes back, I think, to what happened in October as well. It's just been money flow coming out. It doesn't matter what good news we have. The good news comes, but it just gets sold off. And that's the same with Bitcoin and all the other altcoins at the moment. It's just getting sold off. It's a typical bear market. Now, we could, with Bitcoin, we could reverse. We could reverse in May and start making our way towards the upside. Obviously, it could happen. We just go sideways. We have that crash, sideways, and then back up in October towards the upside. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I could be talking right now, and tomorrow we just get this massive bullishness and everything starts to explode towards the upside and the bull market is back. Nobody knows, or tomorrow we could crash down into the 30s or even the 20s. So we've all got to be prepared. I always have the view that we could go to zero. That's what my view is. I'm always very risk averse, but I am DCAing to coins, projects that I really do think have got the fundamentals there, like SUI. Those CRO, and I just mentioned it, it's just been a sea of red coming out. I'm still DCA because I've still got hope that if the bull market does come back at some point, the CRO will make a move. I might be wrong on that. It might never recover. And that's with a lot of altcoins. They may not recover. But at the moment, you've got it. It's called risk. It's called probabilities and risk. That's all it is. Let me know. Do you think this bull market will come back, or do you think it's just going to be a bear market? Or crypto in general have had their time in 2021 and we won't be recovering again. But I am just watching Bitcoin at the moment to see what that is doing. So all eyes are on Bitcoin at the moment because obviously Bitcoin will be the one that actually dictates where all the altcoins go. So it's all about sitting there, being patient. Be patient. Don't just go and put all your money in all at one go. I'm just doing it in myself. I'm just conservatively DCA, knowing that we could come back down. Because at the end of the day, we all want lower prices, because then lower prices, it means we don't have to spend as much getting the amount of coins you want. And then when it does reverse, just like when it happened with the COVID crash, we had that crash, people started to buy in. Yes, it could have dropped down even further, but we went into that bull rally. So it's all about being patient, being careful, being risk averse. So hit that like button and give us a subscribe. Your support is always much appreciated. And I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care.